Yeah, we had a great weekend. Had a great week actually, leading up to the race. Loved Bilbao. Been there for a couple of days before, but I don't think we'd really explored the actual city. But both Lynn and I sort of really loved the city, and I was feeling great going into the race. It was great. I mean, it's the first time I'd actually spent a championship race in the actual city, sort of really close to where the transitions were. We're really close to the run course, really close to the bike course. Throughout the week we saw the area being built, the athletes area being built, we saw the transitions being built. From that side of things, it was great. Met up with a lot of the GB athletes that I'd sort of got to know over the last sort of couple of races. Met up with them, went on a couple of rides, did a couple of runs. The temperature was, we got there on the Saturday, on the Sunday, the temperature was 43 degrees. It was just, I've never, other than being in the desert near Las Vegas, it was unbelievably hot. But luckily, throughout the week, it did drop to race day, which was the Saturday, was down at around about 22 degrees in the morning, which was perfect really. It was typical an English summer's day, even though it was only 9 o'clock, and the training was great, meeting up with people was great, being in the city centre was great. Really enjoyed the vibe, because Bilbao is a mixture of the people of the city and as well as a few tourists, but not too many tourists, so it was a really nice atmosphere. Both races started at 9 AM, but I got up at sort of 5 o'clock in the morning, had my meal, but it was still pitch black at that time. I'd actually had to go out and buy a light from a bike, because I didn't realise that travelling to transition at 7 o'clock in the morning, it was still dark. So I got to a local bike shop, bought a bike light so I could ride down to the transition, which was about 10 minutes away. Nice to ride there, get your legs turning over, check all the gears, check everything was working, the brakes and everything. So I got down to transition sort of relatively early. I think I was the first one there into transition. Sort of got racked up, did my shakeout run. Everything was going great, and really sort of legs felt great, saw the sunrise come up. Really nice atmosphere, an iconic place on the harbour down there, or the old docks I suppose it would be. So it was quite iconic where the actual start was. Felt really good going to the race, felt really good to the start line. The start was quite compressed. He started like in the normal start line, but he actually went down to quite a bit, so I was concerned for that at the start, so I got on the left hand side of the start, so when we actually ran into the corner I could be round, because I had a problem with alveols with the same sort of thing. Positioned myself well for that first corner. The first 5k went well. It seemed to go off super fast, and I was panicking a little bit till I got into my stride after the first k, and it calmed down a little bit and I was sort of running well. A couple of switchbacks, a couple of turns in there, I think about 1.5k each way, so there's about 3 or 4 switchbacks. Came into transition T1 first in my age group. Quite aware, because I know there was only people in the 50-54 in front of me, and I was right where I wanted to be. A couple of guys that I knew that I could potentially ride with and maybe pull away a little bit. Got my bike straight out of T1, felt great, felt super controlled. Got over the mountain line, and there was a lot of people over the mountain line. There was about 10 people around, and it was quite a narrow mountain line. And instead of making the right decision, I made the wrong decision and tried to do a flying mount with too many people around me, and ended up falling. And when I fell, my water bottle careered across the mountain line, right across to the other side of the spectator area. So I had to stop, get myself up, go get my bottle. So I did contemplate not taking the bottle with me, but it did have my gels in. I didn't have my gels on the bike. To go get that, put that back on, get up. I lost about 20-25 seconds, I reckon, from the actual getting back up to the, because it was a hill start as well, so you were straight up a hill. So by the time I got to that, I reckon I'd lost 20-25 seconds. So from there, I'd had to solo TT for about 10k, the exact opposite that I wanted to do. I really wanted to, that first bit, I really wanted to be in a group. I really wanted to get my nutrition on board. I really wanted to sort of relax into it, because I know there was the hill coming. By the time I got halfway up the hill, I did catch another group, which I did end up staying with right back into transition. I felt great bossing the group. I felt really strong. even though I'd sort of had to do a 10k TT by myself. Felt great. Got into transition. It was quite a difficult transition at T2. You actually came down quite a steep 5-6% hill, but it was quite short. It was only about 150 meters, so you're actually coming down this hill, and the mountain line is right on the bottom of the hill, so you actually literally got your leg over going down quite quickly, so it's quite a difficult dismount. So, but then it was over a little bridge, which was great, quite close to the end there. So literally I was in there, trainers on, straight out. Thought I was in third. I must admit, I did think I was in third place. I knew the two of the Spaniards was within the group that I wanted to get in on the bike, so I knew there was a couple of Spaniards in front of me, but I thought I was in third, so I just absolutely just tried to catch second place, and I could see somebody in a red uniform in front of me, and I could see another red uniform, so I'm thinking, if that's first and second, you know, I'm closing. I could tell I was closing, and I put absolutely everything into it just to try and get there. There was a bridge just before you came in the finish area, over the finish line, and as I got on the bridge, I could see the guy in the red uniform at the end. I could see the guy with the red uniform in the middle, and I was just getting onto the bridge, and it was literally 100 meters after the bridge, the finish line. So I put everything I had to try and catch the guy that was in front of me, but I ended up sort of coming, I think 2-3 seconds short. But then the worst case is when I sort of finished, I thought I got third. I think that's happy. A couple of the guys had mobile phones, had got the results. The results were live obviously on the app, and find I finished fourth, which was absolutely mortifying issue that I had, and then I couldn't get onto the group. I lost that much time just doing that. I think I was 30 seconds off the winner, 10-11 seconds off the second place, and then 3 seconds off third place. Mortified on the Saturday evening, and especially it wasn't good going into the Sunday race feeling that way. I feel a lot better about it now because I did perform to my utmost. Came fourth on the bike time wise, and that was with that 20-25 second sort of delay, because obviously that clock had started ticking when I went over the mountain line, and if I'd have knocked them 25 seconds off, I would have been second on the bike time wise, so that was great. And then second run to be first as well. You know, I performed to the level that I wanted to perform, so really, other than one silly mistake, I did perform well. Yeah, the standard was tough, you know, tough mentally as well as physically. 24 hours turnaround, especially sort of from the mental side of things, sort of after having come so close and knowing that I had to go up that hill twice as well. Again, got up next morning, felt okay, legs were a little bit stiff, got to the transition area, not as early because it only opened an hour later on the Sunday. Give people an hour extra in bed, but got there early again, did all the same things. Luckily they'd opened up the run area, so it wasn't as tight going into that first corner, but I still got into the left-hand lane again, knowing what I did just the day before. The first 3 or 4k, my legs just felt like lead. I did sort of contemplate in my mind, thinking I'm not going to be able to finish this 10k, never mind do a 40k bike and a 5k run. And then the support on the side by lane and a group of GB supporters sort of lifted me. And then so I went on and you know, sort of finished again. I think I was second or third in run split on the first run, which, to say my legs were feeling like they were feeling, it was, you know, sort of credit to the fitness that I've gained over the last year. And the bike again, I felt great on the bike. I felt really strong. I caught the guy that was in fourth place on the top of the first hill and coming down so I caught him on the bottom of the descent on the first hill, and then he pulled away from me on the second hill again, but then I caught him again on the bottom of the thingy, so that was great. Transition went really well both times. This time I actually stopped and actually got on the bike properly. But I'm really pleased again with the performance. The 5k at the end was mega tough. 2 days of racing, you know, and the temperature had increased the second day as well. It was like 25 degrees that day. It was a lot warmer. But again, I was pleased. I think I ran a 19-minute 5k, which, you know, after all that I'd been through over the last 24 hours, you know, I was really happy, you know, that my fitness and my strength sort of came through. But overall, I had a fantastic week, great city, nice people, really enjoyed it. Other than the result if I'd have finished on the podium on the Saturday, it would have been the perfect weekend.